Quite a number of Luhya leaders are pushing for the president to consider appointing Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi as the Internal Affairs Cabinet Secretary. I want also to join them by supporting that Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi be made the Internal Affairs CS. I know some will say, oh, Watenge, Luhyarization ukabila imeanza. No. I want to give my own reasons why I would want Musalia Mudavadi to be the Internal Affairs CS. You will notice that Internal Affairs Ministry is more or less the work of a deputy president. It is also more or less the work of a cabinet secretary. I mean, a prime cabinet secretary. Yeah, it is more or less the work of the president. It is more or less the work of the deputy president, and it is more or less the work of internal affairs CS. Internal affairs CS. That is the work of internal affairs CS. Because if you look at government work at a lower level, for lack of a better example, let us take the county level. At the county level, we have various people. We have the director of education, we have the director of medical services, everything. We have it at the county level. But you'll find that, and I mean the activities of the central government. I'm not talking of the county government or devolved government. If you take the activities of the central government, we have a department called NGAO, National Government Administration Officers. These are people, or these are officers, whose duty is to coordinate all the central government affairs within that level of government. And what is the work of a deputy president or even a prime cabinet secretary? Prime cabinet secretary, part of his description is to coordinate other cabinet secretaries. You find he's just a cabinet secretary like any other, but when he is addressed by the other cabinet secretaries, they address to him as sir, because they recognize that he is a level above them. We could say he's a level above them and a level below the deputy president. So him having coordinating other, and him being the principal cabinet secretary, he would head people who would head other departments in all other departments. And the same with his people like the regional coordinator, county commissioner, sub-county commissioner, assistant commissioner. These are his officers these are the officers of the internal affairs minister who coordinates government work. And him being the principal or prime cabinet secretary, that is his work. And why is it that I don't want him to be the foreign affairs cabinet secretary? Cabinet secretary for foreign affairs, since time immemorial, is a position that is very ceremonial. You'll find that in many ministries, the minister in charge since independence is usually, in many cases, apart from Moi's time, you'll find that in many ministries, especially during Jomo Kenyatta's time, you'd find that the minister for that ministry used to be the final word. Final word. He says something, it goes that way. But since Kenya attained independence, and in many countries, the Minister for Foreign Affairs is more or less like an assistant minister in that ministry. Everything is done by everything is done for the president and by the president. Just like you being appointed the cabinet secretary for defense. You are the cabinet secretary for defense, and yet the president is the commander in chief. So you are just like an assistant minister in the office of the president dealing with the defense. So if you are appointed a minister for foreign affairs or a minister for defense, it is a big department with a lot of influence, but in reality, the head of state is the real minister. Previously, when we had, before Kibaki took over, we also had that problem in the Ministry of Education because the president used to be the chancellor of all state universities in Kenya. Now, imagine you are the minister for education and all the public universities, the president is a chancellor. But nowadays, we have many universities and we have many chancellors. And I think the president cannot reach even 2 universities where he is the chancellor. Kibaki had an affection for Masinde Muliro University, such that when he appointed people to be chancellors, he retained himself as a chancellor for Masinde Muliro University. He stayed that way until he died. So we have some ministries where you are just called the minister for this and that, but the president is the real minister for that ministry, and that is the foreign affairs. For this case, we are talking of foreign affairs. So the foreign affairs ministry, that is the case, and you find that it is the president who appoints ambassadors. And let me ask you a question. Take an example when uh, Kibaki transferred his ministers to make the Kinakaimenye, they were all made, what do you call? They were all made ambassadors. Now, if you are made an ambassador and you are supposed to be answerable to a cabinet secretary who you are colleagues with, you find that that is why I'm saying so, that Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi should be removed from foreign affairs. Another thing is, he is the acting minister for all ministries where there are no ministers. Now, if he's in the UN, addressing the UN meeting, and in Kenya there is 1 or 2 ministries without a minister, you find that. But if he's a minister for internal affairs, you'll find that during the time of Kindiki's time in that ministry, he never had a foreign visit because he's always here. He's to coordinate everything. That is why I find that he should be made the internal affairs minister, and they should look for minister for foreign affairs. Now we have 2 ministries which has no ministers. Remember, I can't remember the name of the madam, but there was a madam who was rejected by the parliament. When they were vetting, there was a madam who was rejected. So there are 2 cabinet vacancies, and when they are filled, I would say that one or both will be a woman. So it will either the president is going to nominate 2 women to take over, or one of them. But I don't see him appointing 2 men. It will not factor in well. But you remember the Supreme Court declared the parliament unconstitutional because of the gender issue. Nakumbuka hiyo vitu. Let me not go into that, but I would advise the president that he appoints 2 women to fill in the 2 positions. I don't know which ministry that lady was in, but whichever ministry is, let another woman be there. And then nothing wrong with appointing a woman into the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Amina Mohammed The Somali lady from Kakamega, she fits in the bill very well. But then uh, there is a problem of balancing. There is a problem of balancing because I'm seeing uh, somebody from the mountain, somebody from Gema being appointed so as to cool the people there. And appointing somebody from Gema does not necessarily mean that the person to be appointed has to come from the mountain. No. We have people in diaspora, we have people in Rift Valley who can be appointed, and even these Kikuyus in diaspora, if you don't know, they have connections with the Kikuyus in Central. You'll find that Kikuyus in Nakuru, in a place called Molo, and Naivasha mostly are previously from Kiambu. And Kikuyus from Murang'a went to the capital city to do business there. That is why it was called MTO, Murang'a Takeover. And Kikuyus from Nyeri went to Laikipia and Nyandarua and such a place. Remember, J.M. Kariuki was born in Nyeri district or Nyeri county. So they'll have to take a Kikuyu, not necessarily from, they could even take a Kikuyu from diaspora, including Kikuyus in Nairobi. So my viewers, with those so many remarks, that is what I have a feeling that the president should make Mudavadi the prime cabinet minister and the minister for internal affairs. And then I would prefer he appoints two ladies. Isha Juma, bad luck. Isha Juma, I don't see her getting it. That is bad luck. But bad luck for Isha Juma. She won't fit in. Maybe wamtafutie kazi pale pengine, but a lady from Gema, even if it is in diaspora, especially if it is a lady, I would really be happy if we find a lady who is very good in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And then the other one goes that way. With those many remarks, I want to thank you, the viewers, for being loyal to me, especially those, hey, there's a day 100 people send me 50 shillings. One day, 100 people send me 50 shillings each. So even if you send anything little in my till number, and you are many of you don't want to send because they think, nikimtumia 100 hiyo ni pesa kidogo. But remember, there was a day when 100 people send me 50 each. You know what that means. Thank you and God bless you.